Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. It won't be long before you're playing point guard for the Guangdong Tigers, you trash-ass mother...
All right, y'all, bro. So I get where y'all are coming from, bro, but please, bro, like, I feel like people do this every single year. Anytime a top pick just has, you know, he's struggling in the summer league or he doesn't have his best games or whatnot, he drops less than 10 points, people are just quick to call that player a bust. But guys, it's only been 2 games, bro. 2 games. It's the summer league. If this was the regular season, if this was in the playoffs, okay, maybe I get it, bro. But you know, we're talking about the second overall pick here. We're talking about the NBA Summer League. We're talking about giving our opinions and claiming players as if they are bust, as if these Summer League games matter. Guys, Brandon Miller is still going to probably start for the Charlotte Hornets, and I generally feel like people need to pump the brakes, and they're really overreacting to a matter of 2 games. And guys, I'm telling you right now, this is why a lot of NBA players, guys like Kyrie and all these dudes, bruh, they be talking about the mentality part of the game. You know, they got to take a step away from the game because of situations like this, and just considering just what this kid Brandon Miller has been through just in the year of 2023, let alone his whole life, bro. And we're over here calling this kid a bust after 2 summer league games, man. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Like the video. I think we're actually close to 26,000 subscribers, so if y'all want to help the channel out, hit that red button. It's free. But guys, let's get serious. And I feel like we need to break down these Brandon Miller games because, like I said, people are really overreacting, and I generally don't think that he's honestly been as bad as what people are claiming him to be. I mean, if you take a look at the first game that he had, I forgot who they played, but I know he finished with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 5 for 11 from the field and 3 for 7 from 3. And the main part that people are honestly kind of giving this kid a hard time about is the fact that he finished with 5 to 7 fouls in the game. I don't know why, for some reason, I keep saying he had 7 fouls, and then on ESPN it said he had 5 fouls. Some people say he had 6. In any way, shape, or form, to me, that's honestly not that good. But if you want me to be completely honest, I do feel like a lot of those fouls weren't even fouls, and I feel like the rest were just essentially kind of being soft, and they really were kind of making his game just look a lot worse than it really was. And he really wasn't playing as bad defense as what people are making him claim to be, saying that he can't guard without fouling. So I think these fouls that Brandon Miller are honestly getting, I generally do think we do have to take it with a grain of salt. Yes, I mean, I will admit on some of the occasions he actually is fouling some of these players, but for some of these, I mean, I really don't think he's honestly getting as much foul as what people are saying or what the refs are saying. But like I said, the fact that he still finished with 18 points in this game, I know from the outside looking in, it probably looks like a lot, but in the first half, he really didn't even finish with that many points. I think he only had like 5 to 6 points in the first half, and the rest of his points actually came damn near at the very end of the game in that fourth quarter. So he was kind of struggling at the beginning of the game to kind of find his groove. Honestly, not even the beginning game. Throughout the entire game, he was honestly struggling to find his groove, his footing, and he just wasn't attempting many shots. But I think one thing to note here is that I think Brandon Miller does do a good job at getting at the free throw line, and that's something that I did notice whenever he was at Alabama. And the fact that he didn't even shoot that many shots and he still finished with 18 points in this game. And like I said, that is something that I noticed at Alabama, is that he really is not going to shoot that many shot attempts, but he will still somehow always end up with 15 to 30 points in a game. I do think that is something that is talented for sure, that people don't really give him credit for, is the fact that he can definitely find his way to the line, and he does attack the basket super aggressive, in which he does a good job at drawing fouls whenever teams are guarding him. But like I said, nonetheless, the fact that he did struggle to find his groove, I think the fact that we still saw flashes of him being a great scorer, we saw flashes of the Paul George comparisons that people like to allude to. I don't know, I think the fact that he's the size that he is, 6'9", kind of lanky, kind of has a perimeter type of game that can, you know, be sneaky whenever he does attack the rim. I don't know, me personally, I honestly don't see the bust claims that people are saying about Brandon Miller. I see a, you know, a high intensity, you know, energetic, passionate for the game type of forward here that, like I said, is kind of in that same path as Paul George with his type of play style. Now, when you take a look at his second game that he did play yesterday, yes, he finished with 6 points in this game, 4 rebounds. But one thing that I feel like people aren't really giving him credit for is the fact that he finished with 7 assists in this game. And the type of assists that he was actually getting, the no-look passes, dropping the ball at the right time, placing the ball at the right position for his shooters or, you know, his bigs to put the ball in the basket. I think he was doing a good job of being a floor general. And people aren't realizing, people are just looking at these stats and not understanding that these teams are really, double teaming Brandon Miller. The game planning against Brandon Miller. So that's the main reason why I feel like he hasn't really been shooting a lot. That's not the whole piece of the pie. Yes, I mean, I think 4 field goals isn't enough, but you have to admit that's something that can improve. And that's just something that I think that has to do with coaching, of him just shooting the ball more, just telling him to shoot the ball more. And I think he will finish with more points in these types of games. But like I said, the fact that he's capable of reacting and generating offense despite getting double teamed and finish with, a number like 7 assists in the game, I think that is something to really write home about. But yes, like I said, people are still going to bring up the fact that he had 8 fouls in this game, which is honestly atrocious, however you said that word. But like I said earlier, I still do think a lot of these fouls weren't really that fouls. He really only had probably like 4 to 5 real deal fouls in this game. But like I said, I don't think this game was as bad as what people are making it claim to be. I mean, only 4 attempts really isn't that bad. And like I said, there's just a lot of improvement that you can kind of see from these games that are really easy for him to make, heading into next season for the Charlotte Hornets. But like I said, people have to realize this is kind of what Brandon Miller is. I mean, if you take a look at his stats whenever he was playing at Alabama, there's games where he will drop, as high as 20. There's games where he'll drop as high as 30 or 40. And then the next game he'll drop 13 or 11 or 15 or, 0 points, 9 points. And he honestly struggled also in the March Madness tournament. So I do think the inconsistency part of his game definitely will have to improve. I do think he's more of a microwavable type of scorer, but like I said, I do think there's a lot of improvements that are easy fixes for Brandon Miller. And that's why I'm not really overreacting to a lot of these claims and takes that people are making for Brandon Miller. But like I said, with great coaching, playing with better teammates, playing against better competition, I think he's going to have a pretty solid rookie season. But like I said, I do think this is probably a good thing that this is kind of happening to him kind of earlier on in his career, especially for the mentality part of the game. I mean, I feel like ever since he's been at Alabama, dealing with the issues that he's been having to face there, and just, even throughout his entire life, and also his story, and just, how people are always having to, place a lot of things and a lot of burdens on him. I'm pretty sure as an 18, 19-year-old kid, that's going to do a lot to your mental state. So like I said, I'm not one here to hate on Brandon Miller. I think he'll be able to face this adversity. It'll only make him stronger at the end of the day. I mean, when you have your own fans booing you, you have your own Charlotte Hornet fans booing you whenever you got drafted, and people saying they would rather have Scoot Henderson. I mean, he's just going to have to showcase that, people are, crazy for making these takes, calling him bust, booing him, do what you say. But I think Brandon Miller, like I said, he's super passionate for the game. He plays with energy. And I do think a lot of people are going to turn, head over heels, and they're going to really become a fan of Brandon Miller heading into next season. So just honestly give it some time, trust the process. And like I said, I do think he'll be fine just because of the type of play style and the talent that this kid does possess. But like I said, at the end of the day, to summarize, guys, let's not overreact to this whole situation. It's Summer League. It's only been 2 games. I know he does play Victor Wembanyama tomorrow. If you guys want me to make a breakdown of that video, let me know. I personally expect him to kind of bounce back and have a, insane type of game, just because I feel like everybody's going to be watching this game, especially with Victor Wembanyama, this being his first game, and Brandon Miller being that second pick. I'm pretty sure, as crazy as this sounds, he probably thinks he could have been that #1 pick. So I do think he's going to come into that game with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to prove that, a lot of people are crazy for calling him a bust. So like I said, I'm a fan, but I want to know what you guys think about Brandon Miller. Let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. More videos on the way, more Summer League videos on the way. Do all that fun stuff. Like the video, subscribe, and be on TV. Peace.